Hello and welcome to StudyIQ English, your favorite UPSC platform. Today's topic is quite important for all the aspirants because every year in the UPSC exam, you have some or the other question based on the South China Sea dispute. Besides, the area also is into controversies, disputes, and it is covered in the breaking news every second day because China is relentless. China continues to make territorial claims, illegal, unjustified monopoly in the South China region. And today, once again, something similar is happening. China is going to create a large natural reserve in a very important area that is sandwiched between China and Philippines. This area has been an area of dispute between both the countries, China and Philippines, since 2012. And today, China has once again proven that China will not listen to anything that is told by the US, to anything that is said by the United Nations under its Convention on the Laws of the Sea 1982. So therefore, let's see what is this new crisis of the South China Sea. And because it's an important topic, let me also quickly give you a background about two more important issues. One is China's nine-dash line, and the other is China's string of pearls strategy. Both very important for international relations GS paper 2. So what has happened today? Today, the whole world is watching once again in shock because China is creating a massive natural reserve in a very sensitive, geopolitically as well as ecologically, chain of coral reefs and rocks in the South China region. This is known as the Scarborough Shoal. It lies in close proximity to both China and Philippines because from China it is about 800 kilometers from China's Hainan province, whereas it's very near Philippines. It is about 200 kilometers from Luzon, that is the largest island of Philippines, but this also means that the shoal is quite located within the exclusive economic zone of Philippines, identified by the UNCLOS, an area which the Philippines can use. But China doesn't seem to be agreeing. Now let's talk about the Scarborough Shoal. Now this is an uninhabited area. There is no human habitation as such. You can see on the screen, it is a triangular shaped region with rich fish reserves, rich mineral reserves. Yes, lots of coral reefs here. Very sensitive area. And it is important because it not only provides shelter to fishing boats during cyclones and storms, but also its strategic location makes it very crucial. Now, talking about its waters that are quite rich in fish stocks, they are also a source of livelihood to various fishing communities in the area named as the Zambales and the Pangisnian. Now, the shoal is situated on a very crucial shipping lane, and almost every year, trade worth rupees $3 trillion passes from this shoal, nearby the shoal. So, which means it has a great geostrategic importance as well. But the problem is, because of its rich resource and because of its important strategic location, being one of the key shipping lane, China and Philippines have been making contradicting claims on the Scarborough Shoal. All started back in 2012 when there was a fight between Philippines Navy and Chinese ships. But it ended in China's somewhat victory because China then started taking a de facto control, a real control over this island area. Since then, China's Coast Guard, China's military, China's navy has been present here constantly. They have been monitoring the area. What is worse is that they often stop Philippines boatsmen and fishermen from even entering the lagoon, which is impacting their livelihood and security both. Now, in 2016, under the Permanent Court of Arbitration located in the Netherlands, The Hague, it was ruled that China's claim on this area under China's larger strategy called the nine-dash strategy is completely invalid, and China has no legal basis of claiming this shoal. Similarly, under the UN Convention on the Law of the Sea, the UNCLOS, signed back in the 1980s, it is believed that China's nine-dash line is a bogus concept. Nobody except China wants to believe in that. Now, for your UPSC, you must know what is this nine-dash concept all about. So the 9 dash refers to China's historical and controversial maritime claim in the South China Sea. China has represented it on China's map through 9 dashes. That's why it's called the 9 dash line. According to it, China's sovereignty is existing on a vast area, including the Spratly Island, the Paracel Island, and other geographically important islands. But this claim is completely rejected by the UNCLOS and other countries, including America. No wonder countries like US, India, Japan, who are afraid of China's monopoly, are also parts of group like Quad, the Quadrilateral Dialogue, where the countries keep on exchanging military drills and train themselves, possibly to prepare for a future worse aggression done by China. At the same time, despite the UNCLOS saying that China's 9 dash line is not valid, China has rejected this jurisdiction and China completely wants to create its own sovereignty in the said area. Now on the picture here, you can see the 9 dash line. So practically China is making a claim on entire South China Sea. Well, that's a part of maritime monopoly of China. Now, why does Philippines have a problem with this? Why is Philippines upset? Because China is creating a natural reserve in the Scarborough. After all, according to China, it is only an attempt at preserving the biodiversity of the area. It's only an attempt to protect the sensitive flora and fauna of the region. But Philippines says it is just a fake claim. China is not interested in protecting the ecology or the biodiversity. The real intention China has is to expand in an illegitimate and in an unlawful manner. Now, according to Philippines Department of Foreign Affairs, this is a clear excuse for further occupation of the Scarborough Shoal. Chinese reserve is not about conservation, it's purely about control, says Philippines. And officials are also arguing that under the UNCLOS, although it's permitted that a country can take any initiative, any project to preserve ecology, but UNCLOS does not allow a country to enter into another country's special economic, rather exclusive economic zone, the EEZ, which extends up to 200 nautical miles from a country's baseline, the coastal baseline. And today, if the Scarborough Shoal is within 200 kilometers from Philippines, then what right does China have to create a natural reserve here in the pretext of conserving environment? Now, at the same time, America has responded by supporting Philippines here. Also, back in 2023, there was a report, an American report called as Center for Strategic and International Studies, released in Washington. It said that Chinese island building projects had created a burying of 4,648 acres of coral reef. China has already damaged thousands square kilometers, acres of coral reefs in the past. So today, how come China suddenly has so much love for the environment that it wants to create a reserve in a disputed area? Quite defying the logic of UNCLOS also. Then, according to the same report of America, it was said that giant harvesting by China. China is into marine harvesting for food, for commerce. Now, this makes further 16,353 acres of seabed that has become damaged only because of Chinese trawlers and Chinese ships. So, with all these claims happening, today, with what face can China say that no, this is purely an attempt towards going green, when we know that China's hands here are absolutely not clean? And much of the destruction that China has been causing is linked to dredging. It is linked to land reclamation, even in islands like Spratly and Parcel, which are also in the South China Sea, and all of them are a matter of dispute. Now, on that note, we must also talk a little bit about China's string of pearls policy. According to China, it's a hypothesis that was created by America back in 2004. US officials believe that Chinese government, it wants to create a network of China's military and commercial facilities. China's strategic relationship starting from the mainstream China, the mainland China, and it extends up to the Horn of Africa in Sudan. So that's China's intention. All the way including West Asia and Eastern Africa, China wants its monopoly. That's the string of pearls. No wonder initiatives like the Belt and the Road Initiative are seen as a part of that. So if China is having this expansionist agenda, a very valid question is, once again, due to the Scarborough Shoal controversy, is China Sea, the South China Sea, on the verge of a dispute? Let's see how the developments take place. Criticized by America, called out by various countries, but China continues its agenda. Let's have a look at the question for prelims. Consider the following statements regarding the Scarborough Shoal recently in the news. 1. It lies within 200 nautical miles of Philippines, which means it comes under the EEZ, Exclusive Economic Zone of Philippines. 2. In 2016, the Permanent Court of Arbitration ruled sovereignty of the shoal to Philippines. That means, according to the Permanent Court of Arbitration, the Hague Declaration, the Scarborough Shoal should belong to Philippines. Now, the third statement. China has recently declared a national natural reserve, dividing the entire Scarborough into core, buffer, and experimental zones. So, which of these statements do you think is correct or are correct? You can try answering the question. Very relevant topic for UPSC GS. In case you want to know more about the 9-dash line, the string of pearl policy of China, or the entire South China Sea backgrounder, you can let me know here in the comment box. You want to share something, your own views on this, your own arguments on this, please feel free to initiate a thread here. And then we can take it on and make it a wonderful group discussion. Thank you so much for being with us. Please like, share, and subscribe Study IQ English.